Okay, we are now live. Welcome along. If you are a subscriber to An Englishman in San Diego, you will have gotten a notification saying that a broadcast is happening, and that's exactly what's going to be taking place for the next 15-20 minutes. As long as we are interesting, we'll keep talking. That's pretty much how this is going to go. I'm looking forward to this. This is an incidental episode, which we do as part of a supplemental thing to our Talking Comic-Con or Talking Con, a cup of tea with Englishman in San Diego podcast live each and every Sunday. But when we get the chance to speak to somebody outside of the Sunday broadcasts, we get them on an incidental episode, and that's what we've done today. Looking forward to speaking to Ivan Cohen, who's joined us live. Now, you're not actually at the venue yet. You're not at Long Beach. You're setting off relatively soon, aren't you?
Yes, tomorrow. So my brain is in several time zones at once. I'm speaking to you. I'm in my home in New York, and tomorrow I'll be flying to California. But
well, I mean, I know it's morning time for you. It's mid-afternoon here in the UK, so this is time zone central. We are all over the place. This is what we like to see. It's very much an international show, so it's great to have you joining us. First things first, I think it's best if you introduce yourself. Who is Ivan Cohen?
Well, Ivan Cohen is me. I am director of programming for Mad Event Management, which runs Long Beach Comic-Con, Long Beach Comic Expo, New Jersey Comic Expo, the C3 Comics Creator Conference. I'm also a freelance writer of comics. I wear many hats. Not as nice as the one you're wearing right now, but
you keep yourself busy.
Yes, indeed I do. But my focus is all about the convention this weekend, which is going to be a fun one.
Well, I mean, I've been looking through the guest lists. I've been looking through what you've gotten planned for this weekend. It's a lot of place to juggle. I mean, how long has it taken to kind of put this, the programming lines together for Long Beach?
Off and on, it started probably about a minute after the last show in September of last year. And then we had a show in February, so that one, used up a lot of the bandwidth, as they say. But pretty much ever since then, I mean, we started the September show last year was the first one I had ever worked on for this group. And as a result, we got a chance to see what worked and what didn't work. And, obviously you try to learn and grow and come up with different things to appeal to the best audience. The audience that comes to the show is one that we want to entertain and enlighten and have more people show up. So we looked at what worked and what didn't work, and then we started to invite people. And I'm really happy with who we ended up with. I mean, it's a competitive market. There's so many conventions every weekend. You and I were talking before the show started about, the end of con season. And I'm not sure there is one anymore. I think maybe there aren't a lot of conventions in the continental US in December, but other than that, it seems like there's a show. We have 3 shows this weekend that we're competing for the same guests with everyone else, but we won. We did better.
So, I mean, looking through the guests, it is very much a unique lineup. I mean, I do like the way that you have balance between the comics, the pop culture. Wrestling is always something that's starting to get stronger. Mm-hmm. Science as well is starting to get stronger at conventions. That's kind of something new, I'd say, for the last, say, 4 or 5 years, that's become very much a prominent component of conventions. What kind of things have excited you about what you've put together so far?
Well, the thing about this show, I mean, obviously we're not San Diego sized. You can come to the show on Saturday and leave on Sunday and not feel like you've run a marathon for the last week, and you'll have seen the things you wanted to see. But what we've really tried to do is put together a lineup that has something for everyone who likes comics. Comics first is our focus, even though we do have celebrities, we do have the wrestling, the science expo, the space expo, which is wonderful, which is a terrific family-friendly thing. I look at the Space Expo as being sort of something to entertain for the family, where maybe dad's the only one who really loves comics, and he's forced mom and the kids to come with him. And then it's but we can go see a thing where stuff blows up. And
or even mum's been more interested in the comics and dad.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I like that in both of our examples, the kids have no interest whatsoever in comics. That's a little depressing, but so we have, but in terms of the comics focus, we have living legends. We have Marv Wolfman. We have Kevin Eastman coming, which came together sort of late in the game. But we have new people. We have, people who work on DC Superhero Girls. We have Christopher Priest, who sort of straddles all the eras because he's been in the business for a long time and has great stories. We have Jaime Hernandez, which I'm thrilled by. Dean Haspiel and Jonathan Ames talking about the anniversary of their book, The Alcoholic, which, it's indie comics royalty and contemporary best-selling comics royalty. I was saying to someone the other day, it's like, if you've been a fan for 30 years or 30 days, I think we have something for every one of you. And that's exciting. I like that at this show, I feel like, the hardest part was probably trying to imagine. I try to put myself in the shoes of the person who's going to the panels, because I don't get to go to nearly as many of them as I was like. And I try to make sure that if I were that fan, I don't want them at a show this size. I don't want people to have to choose. I don't want people to have to say, oh, I can't decide whether I'm going to see the Teen Titans panel or the panel about cosplay, about the other thing I love just as much. I wanted to sort of have it be so you will go in the panel room and you will be there all day, but you won't feel like you missed anything. You'll be completely overwhelmed, but just the right amount.
Some conventions very much gear towards breaking news. This is somewhere to bring to the fans some news that perhaps they weren't aware of. Then there are some conventions that are very much celebratory of the fandoms, both past, present, and future. So there's ones that kind of are bringing new information to the fans, and then there's those that are a little bit more reactionary, as it were. I mean, which one would you say that Long Beach sits in?
I think we're more in that latter group. I think because of the timing of the show, I think we have a lot of publisher exhibitors this time. We even have, DC Comics isn't exhibiting, but Dan DiDio is going to be there doing a DC Nation panel. But I suspect, I've known Dan for a long time, and it's possible he will say things that he's not supposed to say or announce things he's not.
Shock, horror, surprise. Yeah,
shocking.
He has the ability of doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, and very few people can tell him no. It's the perk of being publisher. But I think for the most part, since the New York show is in October, just 5 weeks away, or however frighteningly soon it is, I think most of them save their anything that they would announce now, they're just going to wait until October. But my general feeling, and maybe I'm a little jaded because I've been doing this a long time and I've been in the comics world a long time, waiting in line to go to a panel to hear about something that's going to be in previews in 2 weeks does not seem like for our customers. I'd rather they get to hear amazing stories from the professionals who may end up giving away things that they're working on that are even more top secret. But we're not a breaking news show. We provide a real opportunity for people to experience a wide range of comics creator stories and experience. We have, I didn't mention this before, we have panels for people who are trying to break into the business. We have panels with editors talking about what an artist should put in their portfolio to have the best chance of getting a job. We have panels on kids comics for people. Like, it's not for the person who is so jaded that they know everything about comics already. If they know everything about comics already, we'll still have stuff for them too. We have a horror movie premiere. They haven't seen that yet. They can come. That's fine. But we're right in the sweet spot. I think people are going to be very satisfied. I'm sad I can't go to all the panels. I'm sad I can't moderate all the panels that I want to, and I can't go to all the panels I want to. Right? I
was just about to say, just how busy are you going to be next weekend? Are you going to be getting the chance to see anything? Is there anything that's kind of caught your eye in your own lineup, your own programming tracks that you would
could not be more excited?
You say you're moderating as well?
I'm moderating a couple. I'm moderating a Teen Titans panel with Adam Glass, Marv Wolfman, and Brian Edward Hill, because Marv basically created the version of the franchise that people love most. Adam is writing the Titans book right now. Brian is writing for the Titans TV show. And I've written an episode of Teen Titans Go, and I've written a bunch of the Teen Titans Go comics. So I I don't put myself on panels much, but I felt like that one I get to moderate just because I have some
That's
credentials.
the present you give to yourself.
Yes, that's the present I give to myself. But I was so excited that we got Jaime Hernandez to come to the show. He's like the first. I'm sure for a lot of people my age, like the first indie comics person whose work I ever really got into, and I'm not even sure I can go to the panel. Like the Moses and and not getting to go to the Promised Land problem is I don't get to go to everything, but that's going to be a good one. I'm excited about that. I'm only moderating a few. We have a partnership with the Los Angeles Times in Espanol, so they're sponsoring a few panels. One of the ones they're doing, which I will at least go to for a little because I want to see how it works, is we're doing a bilingual panel, which I'm not sure. I don't know if San Diego's ever done it. My brief investigation found that it seemed to be not a thing, which shocks me beyond words. But we're doing a lot of stuff with Spanish language communities and creators. But so we decided it would be interesting to try to do one panel that sort of catered to a more Spanish speaking audience, and we'll see how it goes. I mean, if 5 people show up, we'll try it a little differently next time and see if we get 6 people to show up. Like we're trying to build, new constituencies. But like last show, the show we did in February, the Long Beach Comic Expo, it was the same weekend that Black Panther came out. So we're not dumb. So we had Don McGregor as our guest of honor, who had done so much of the work that the Black Panther franchise is based on. And every Black Panther connected panel we did were the most populated panels, the most popular panels of the show. So we don't have a movie release like that this time, but we're trying different things to appeal to audiences that maybe get underserved by the bigger conventions. And we'll see how it works.
Well, you kind of touched on something there in terms of the timing of a convention, and that is very important in 2018. Like you say, there are so many shows. I mean, what are the pros and cons of running a show at this point in the year as the summer's kind of tapering out? I mean, what would you say is the pros and cons for Long Beach taking place?
Well, for Long Beach is a show that not a lot of people fly in from other parts of the country. It's not a show that fills the hotels. The people come from greater Los Angeles, and there aren't a lot of shows in the greater LA area. There's Kamikaze, whatever that's now called. I think it's changed its name. And that's not meant to, no disparagement meant. It's just like there's not a ton of shows, even though DC is based out there. A lot of publishers are based out there. It's not the holiday weekend. People are back in school already, so nobody's on vacation. So it's the weather gets a little better. I think last year it was 100 degrees and broiling. This year it should be a little better because it's a couple of weeks later. The pros are that the fall is a good season for comics. Publishers have things that they're putting out. They're just gearing up for the holidays because holiday books have to be out by November. We don't have a big movie or anything, pulling people in, but we're a comics first show, so we don't mind that. We're not, we have, like I said, we have our celebrities. We have tons of people from the cast of Twin Peaks, which I'm excited about. Another panel I won't get to go to because life is not fair to me. But we have an actor we have Hodor from Game of Thrones. That's cool. But by and large, we're about comics. We're Valiant is there. Valiant is joining us for the first time. That's going to be fun. IDW is going to be there. Aftershock is coming for the first time. Like
you've beaten to the next 2 things I was going to talk about. I was going to talk about Valiant, and I was going to talk about Aftershock coming for the first time because that's really exciting stuff. Because I mean, certainly Aftershock, they're starting to make that presence of appearing at conventions as very much official. In their kind of an official capacity as such. So I'm a huge supporter of Aftershock. So I mean, it's exciting to see them appearing at conventions. Likewise with Valiant as well. I mean, who else have you got that's appearing at Long Beach for the first time this time around?
Oh, let me think about that for a second. But just to go back on Aftershock, we also have they're doing a convention variant of their new book Beyonders, which Wes St. Clair, the interior artist on that book, is coming to the show, and he's done a variant cover for that, which we're going to be selling exclusively at the con, which is fun. We also used it as the cover of our program guide, but people should still buy the variant edition. I worried for a minute that we were undercutting it, but it's going to be fine. It's all going to be fine. That's why I keep telling myself every night as I try to go to sleep. But who else is joining us for the first time? There's a lot of people who are coming back. Prism's going to be there. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble. They're all going to watch and they're going to be like, you didn't mention any of us. But
sorry, this is putting you on the spot. I do apologize.
Too many great companies to name. How's that?
That's a nice catch-all. I like that.
Yeah, so many great people. But I am really excited about it. It's nice. It's hard with Rose City going on in the Northwest at the same time. There's a show in Salt Lake City, which, because of the way that city runs, that show is like Thursday through Saturday. So I actually have some people coming back to LA who asked if they could come by on Sunday, and I was like, sure, we're fine. We're heathens. You're welcome anytime.
Well, that's going to be the next thing I was going to ask as well, because like you say, it's a very full calendar in 2018. That seems to be the way of the world when it comes to Comic-Cons nowadays. What is it that you feel Long Beach brings that makes them it makes yourself stand out amongst all of these different events that are taking place? Like you say, a number of events taking place this weekend, which vies for people's attention. What would you say makes Long Beach stand out?
Well, this is an easy question to answer, except I don't want to say anything bad about the competition. So I have to choose my words very carefully. Again, we are comic centric, which not all the shows are. There are some shows that put on a good face towards being comic centric, but then you look at their guest lists, it's a lot of Hollywood, it's a lot of TV and movie celebrities, and you have to pay money for autographs, and that's not really our model. We are very comics focused, and we're sort of the biggest and best local show. There's a lot of creators in Los Angeles. There's a lot of people who they go to so many of the shows out of town, but they don't actually get to do shows in their own community. They don't get to be in front of the fans that they might see at the comic shops, who don't even know that they're standing near the writer or the artist of their favorite book. So there's a good amount of that. It's sort of a charming show. I don't think of Long Beach, again, if the mayor of Long Beach, who's a big comics fan, is watching, I love Long Beach. It's great. I don't think of it as the most charming city. It's a city. But the community of fans that it draws, families, people are so enthusiastic. People are so excited to have the show there, and we're really happy to be able to put on a good show for them. It is exciting to see the payoff of all this. You do a lot of this work. A lot of the work of planning a show like this is emails and people yelling at you that they didn't get confirmation for their hotel room yet, and the payoff is this weekend. The payoff is seeing the kid in the homemade Iron Man costume, getting the autograph of somebody who worked on the Guardians of the Galaxy cartoon. And that's the best. That reminds me of being 10 years old and, meeting Walt Simonson, it's not bad. It's not a bad way to keep the tradition going and keep the fandom going, because that's what it should be about. And I sometimes think, with what you're asking about the other conventions, sometimes the business part of it gets so big that, if you're San Diego, it's so much of it is about Hall H, which most of the fans don't get anywhere near. If I'm a parent, I have a 5-year-old. When he's 10, if he says, I want to go to Hall H at San Diego, that's going to be a very sad conversation for him when I explain that we are not doing that, son. Not going to happen. But we like having a show that everybody can go to, and they can get in pretty easily, and they can, at the end of the day, Sunday, they'll be tired but not exhausted.
I can imagine it's part of the appeal of Long Beach that it is a nice, intimate, friendly event. I mean, I've got Dan Berry, who's our man on the ground, and he enjoyed the show last year. He's looking forward to this weekend's show as well. So he's looking forward to coming along, and he's constantly come back to us and said that there is this feeling at Long Beach that it's not a small con by any stretch of the imagination, but it's nothing too unwieldy. It's not too intimidating. And certainly when you talk about, say, New York Comic Con or San Diego, that there is this feeling that it's this monolith to kind of like overcome. That's not necessarily the feeling that we get and when we hear about Long Beach, and I think that's really appealing for a lot of people that want to just enjoy their weekend.
I hope so. I mean, that's really the goal. I look at, you know, the New York show is my local show, and I have, you know, freelance business both connected to the convention and connected to my other lives where I need to go and I need to be there and I need to see so many people. And at the end of the show, I'm exhausted, and I can make a list as long as my arm of the people who I heard were there and I didn't get to see them. And that, you know, that shouldn't be the first thing I come away from the show. You know, I shouldn't be coming away from the show with regret. I should be coming away from the show with, I met Christopher Priest. That's so cool. I love Quantum and Woody. That's the best. I heard about this new book coming out from Aftershock. I got an autograph from the guy who drew it. Like, that's, you know, it should be fun. You should be going back on Monday to your work or to your school and telling people about how great an experience it was, not how tired you are, and not how you think you caught something from shaking too many hands or waiting in line for too long.
Sure. Well, like I say, I mean, Dan's looking forward to reporting on the show for us. I'm hoping that he may even jump in on the live board podcast on Sunday with perhaps a little live report from the floor. Fingers crossed, depending on signal and all of that. All that fun.
Please have him find me. If you know, tell him to look me up. I'll make sure he's
cool. It'd be good to get a sense of how the weekend's gone in the center of the action, as it were. So that'd be really cool.
You know what's he looking forward to? Do you know if there's any specific thing he's excited about?
I know he likes his celebs, but he's also he's very much the perfect guy for the website, because he likes all things. He's a student of all schools, so he's going to be all over the place. So he's looking forward to it. Excellent. So where can people find out more about Long Beach? I mean, I'm like you say, you were saying people can kind of go to the convention and sort of attend on the day. What ticket sales like?
What do you mean? You can buy them online. I believe it'd be funny if I get the address wrong. It should be longbeachcomiccon.com. There are, I think at this point you might have to pay full price. There have been a few discounts you may have all missed, but do better next time. But
can people buy on the door?
They can buy at the door too. Absolutely. We have it's our 10th edition. It's not an anniversary. Next year will be the 10th anniversary, but you know, it's like issue number 10. It's special because it ends in a 0. But we're really treating it like a big deal, and I think the experience is going to be very special. I'm not going to get choked up, but it's really it's good stuff. And
the AfterCon party, I can imagine, will be something to be attending. That would be something else.
That seems so far away right now.
Shape at that point.
Yeah, I'm sure my eyes will be open, kind of. But legs, I'll have sore legs, and sore feet, but a big smile on my face for it being done.
Excellent. So that's longbeachcomiccon.com.
Yep.
Excellent stuff.
Awesome.
Listen, Ivan, it's been a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much indeed for coming on. Have yourself an amazing weekend. It sounds like it's going to be such a blast, and it's just a shame that I'm not going to be there. I really would like to have seen it in person, but Dan Berry is going to be our man on the ground, and like I say, hopefully he's going to be able to bring us a bit of a live report on this weekend's Talkin Con, a cup of tea with an Englishman in San Diego. That's live, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. GMT. So be nicely in the middle of the whole action of that when it's all up and running on Sunday. So that should be rather fun. Ivan, Perfect. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much indeed for coming on.
Likewise. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
You too.